Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for watching. And it's Reaver Titan Showcase time. Not often you get one Forgeworld Reaver Titan on your channel, let alone two at once. I'll take you to my first one. This is my Reaver Titan that I did for my Death Guard last year. So cracked armour effects, kind of weird gribbly nurgly bits, lots of kind of battle damage to fit in with my Death Guard army. My one is fitted with 2 laser blasters. Just quickly show the magnetization here. Each arm I've done with just 3 magnets in a little row, embedded quite flush with the blaster, so that you can get it on and off that kind of pod that comes onto the arms quite easy. Fairly static pose, legs sort of fairly braced, and then with the base done with Meismic lignifiers and kind of nurgly bits. Now this new Titan, so I had to say mine about the first one. This is not actually my Reaver Titan. I built this for a friend. Comes with a slightly different weapon option. He has got a laser blaster like I've fitted, and the missile pod, because that just comes with every Titan. There's no optional weapons, even though in Titanicus and things there are different weapons for the turrets. And having spent a bit of time seeing some other people's Titans, you can do some optional weapon options for the tops of these, but you have to do it yourself. Power Fist, really nice little add-on. And again, magnetised it on there in a slightly different way to swap between the weapons. A little bit more on that later. And it's got the Gatling blaster. Much more interesting pose. You wanted something a bit more dynamic, so we've got it stood up onto a Lehman Russ. Bending that leg and things just definitely makes it a bit more interesting and a bit bulkier. So we'll talk about the pose first. So securing a Titan. I'm not going to do a full build video, but it's interesting to see these little stages while we're doing the showcase. So I've taken a 4mm aluminium rod, drilled it through the base, drilled it right through that Lehman Russ, taken the turret off, and then drilled a hole through the foot. So this whole thing is rodded down to the base. And when I finally sort of sealed it down, you can see that rod sticking out, and that goes into the foot angle. Now it's quite an interesting experiment, really, getting the Lehman Russ right and in the right place to get to the whole model to be able to stand on this base. And this base is a 12-inch chopping board. Last week I did a section on actually what I've done with that base. And it was just a bit of fun playing with it and trying to get that foot pose correct, because I wanted the toes kind of curled down and over the Lehman Russ. So it looks a bit like it's bracing on it, kind of leaning forward and firing. So it was a little bit of fun kind of doing that. For the most part, this build was very, very similar to previous. For example, just showing you here into the knee joint. Rods on all the joints of this model to give that little bit more strength. I do know someone who's done it with no rods. I've done a Warhound with no rods and it's not a problem. But especially when you're in a jaunty angle, I thought, be a bit more effort. You can see there are actually 2 pins in this leg joint, and that's a little bit of paranoia probably, but because the weight isn't going directly through both legs and it's kind of leaning back a little, I thought, go a little bit extra. I made sure that when it was setting, I put a spirit level on top to really get that central point where the body's going to mount perfectly flush. Because of the Reaver Titan, I didn't want to magnetise the waist. I tested it in build form with my completed torso onto these legs. Looked a bit strange. And here we have this kind of finished model. So, jaunty pose. Let's just take the weapons off and take you through what a fault of this was. You can see here there is no magnetising or rods or anything on that middle waist area, just the pin that the model comes with. So the mistake with the model, this Gatling blaster on the right hand side, I said about the magnets. Now I did the same technique as I did on my models. 3 magnets in a row on the gun, 3 magnets on the sort of pod or arm joint that comes down, and that was the idea. It was going to be takeable, offable on the right hand side. But you can see here there's actually 5 I ended up doing, because I put 3 magnets in, the exact same magnets I ordered offline that I used on my own Reaver Titan, and they came with about 25% of the pull strength that I originally ordered. That's why I ended up drilling 5 in, 5 at the top, 5 at the bottom in the same fashion as those pins, and it just would not hold. Now the solution on the left arm was to then pull a plug of milliput I'd put out here, because the fist fits differently than the weapon pod. So that was fine. I could pull that plug out, a little bit of damage but not too much, and then use a very large flat magnet, which meant the solution then for the laser blaster was to slice the top of the ball joint off, seal another magnet on, absolutely fine. And then because now a really strong magnet is in that left pod, it would then hold the fist on. The right arm, however, because I'd put them in the end of the kind of arm rod, as you saw before, I couldn't get the 5 magnets from the top and the bottom out to fix it. So the solution, unfortunately, was just to glue the arm on. The friend I was doing it for was perfectly happy though, because he'd only given me 3 weapon options. The Gatling blaster, the laser cannon and the arm, so you could still use all the weapon option that he bought for the model. Quite happy with that. Now talking about the weapons, when my mate bought this, he bought the genuine body certificate and all that kind of malarkey, and picked up the arms and weapons offline because they were significantly cheaper than Forgeworld. Someone saying, oh, the genuine just not needed, and he'd seen it when he was coming to do the ordering. However, this missile pod came from another vendor, and it's absolutely clearly fake. Different resin, it's like a white pale resin. It was a nightmare to put together. It's curved, it's warped, it's just a horrible thing, and a good real kind of warning as to go for the genuine ones, because you're going to, you know, do yourself all right. And he's going to pick up another weapon pod when we're down at Warhammer World at some point, I'm quite sure. So final fly through. The base you've seen on the channel before, really quite nice than that. It's a real nice chunky meaty pose, stood up, you know, bracing itself with its leg on a tank, firing. Optional swappable weapons, really happy. The green on it, just FYI, is some texturing that I've put over the armour. I've got a full length build videos all on the channel, so you can check that out. So I'm not going to paint this, he's painting it. It's been handed over to now at Salute Weekend down in London where we are, and he's going to be painting it. It will feature on the channel again in a game where I'll be playing against it. So yeah, hope you like that talk through. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.